Hey everyone, it's Midcoast Auditor. I want to do a follow-up on one of my videos. It's called First Amendment Audit, I'll Arrest You, Capitol Judicial Center, Maine. I've had a lot of comments about why didn't I stay in the building, why didn't I take the arrest. I wanted to do a follow-up on that and some of the reasons why I didn't stay and also what I was up against. So first, let's review the video. This is the video in question, and my interaction with the judicial marshals. Hello.
Hi, gotta turn that off.
Is that policy or what?
Yeah, it is policy.
Can I see it in writing? It's not on the door.
Please exit. Turn that off and exit right now. Leave the building.
Is this a public area?
Leave the building. You
Yeah.
cannot have that going without written permission from the court system. Leave now.
That's against the 14th and the First Amendment.
All right. How many fingers do I have up?
Title 17, Chapter 93C, interference with
Doesn't matter.
constitutional rights.
You have to leave.
I'll send her out in that public area then.
Yep. Out of the building. Leave. Out.
Is that a lawful order?
Yep, yes, it is.
Can I see it in writing?
No, but you heard it in writing. You leave now or I arrest you. Do you
For?
understand?
4.
Failure to leave.
That's not a law.
Yeah, it is.
That's not a law.
You want to find out?
Failure to leave?
Do you want to find out?
I'm pretty familiar
I am giving you a lawful order to leave. Leave now.
in a public area.
I am giving you a lawful order to
In a
leave.
public area.
Leave now. Yep.
Under duress, I will leave.
Good.
And I'll be right out here filming you guys from the windows. As you can see, I wasn't even in the building for a few seconds, and I remained on the other side of security, and I was forced to go out the door. After this, I did some research, and I reached out to the head honcho of the Maine Judicial Marshals, and I said this to him. I wrote this to him. Mr. Coe, I'm writing to inform you of an interaction that occurred between myself and 2 security personnel. I'm a journalist who travels around the state and takes video for news and historic record. I entered the Capitol Judicial Building and was immediately accosted. I was instructed to turn off my camera. I asked for clarification and was immediately surrounded by your court security, inches from my person. The main aggressor made a comment that could be interpreted that I was sight impaired and came across as disrespectful. I never tried to advance further, and nor did I say or do anything unlawful, yet I was threatened with arrest for failure to leave. Under duress, I left with my departure forced by threat of violence to forego my constitutionally protected right to record for news purposes. And before I go ahead with my federal civil rights complaint, I wanted to give you a chance to take corrective action against the court officers as who suppressed my First Amendment right to gather news and related content in a public space. My intention was never to enter a courtroom or restricted area, just a lobby where the public has a right to be. Video of this interaction is available on my YouTube channel. And I go on. And then he wrote back, "Good evening. I reviewed the video your cites in your email, which I believe to be the best evidence of the events that took place. Per Administrative Order JB-515, JB-515, taking photos of videos in the main courts prohibited unless approved by the resident judge or justice. This approval needs to be granted before recordings are begun." So I went and I researched that, which he referenced. And JB-05-15 pretty much is the basic outline for recording in a courtroom. It says, no cameras or audio equipment shall be allowed in the courtroom unless coverage of any event or proceeding has been authorized pursuant to this order. Note, it says courtroom. And it lays out what you can do in civil proceedings, criminal proceedings, methods of coverage, Supreme Court, Judicial Court, cameras and file documents. And this is kind of interesting. Separately, an individual may photograph any documents or case file materials that are accessible to the public within the clerk's offices, rather than have the clerk office photocopy them. Found that interesting. And then if you read the actual administrative order that follows that, it is JB-05-16, use of cellular phones, pagers, computers, and other electronic devices in courthouses. This order amends JB-05-16, signed June 29, 2005, effective August 1st, 2005. All cell phones, pagers, computers, and other electronic devices shall be turned off prior to entering the quorum unless otherwise authorized by the presiding judge, justice, or magistrate. All camera use in a courthouse is subject to JB-05-15. Any camera, cell phone, computer, or other electronic device that also contains a camera or is equipped to take photographs in a courthouse may be subject to confiscation unless authorized pursuant to JB-05-15. What I find interesting about that is they're making the courthouse the courtroom, because in that previous administrative order, it doesn't make any mention of public spaces, just civil proceedings, criminal proceedings, and so on. So they're trying, through that little sentence, they're trying to trying to make the whole courthouse into a courtroom and under the presiding judge's control. I strongly disagree with that. I don't think that's constitutional, and I don't think it's been challenged. So, also, somebody made a comment that the judicial marshals can't arrest. It was just a bully tactic to get me out of the building. So I did a little research on what judicial marshals have for power in the state of Maine, and their authority comes from revised statutes for MRS 1715B. Judicial marshals are sworn law enforcement officers and have the same powers and duties throughout the counties of the state as sheriffs have in their respective counties. Judicial marshals can and often do make arrests at the direction of a judge or justice as it becomes necessary to maintain order in all Maine courts. So in other words, he could have arrested me based on the JB-05-16, because that falls under the discretion of the judge, the presiding judge. Doesn't make it right, doesn't make it constitutional, but that's how they operate. I reached out to him, and obviously he shut it down. He said that I was in the wrong, and so on and so on. So I just wanted to make this video really quick to give you guys the pertinent information regarding it. And I do plan to audit it again. And I'm going to try to ask permission to see if they'll deny me based on me going in there before, which will only help me further if I proceed with any type of civil case. So to recap, I was ejected from the building because I didn't have permission to film in the public areas. The judicial marshal didn't cite me the law or the policy or the administrative order. I had to find that on my own. And pretty much this is it. If you want to find it, it's at courts.maine.gov, and look for administrative order tab. Click on it and then scroll down and find JB-05-15, which is the general outline of how you can film, what you can film, and what equipment you can use and what permission you need in the court rooms. And then on top of that, JB-05-16, which is in courthouses. And they added this little line here. And pretty much made a whole public building into a courtroom. Another detail about this I'm really not happy about is they can confiscate your camera equipment if you don't have permission or if they don't like what you're doing. If you were on a public street and a cop took your camera without any justification, just took it because you were recording, that would be a civil rights violation. But in the courthouse, that goes out the window. And apparently the judge has more power than the Constitution. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you haven't watched that video yet, I suggest you watch it to see what I was up to and to see that everything I was doing was lawful. If you haven't liked this video, or if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do. I plan to be on the road next week capturing some more footage and doing some more audits. So stay tuned. Thank you.